Hello, welcome to On Me Ed Son. I hope you're all well. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications bell for all future videos. So yeah, I'm coming to you live here in the UK, well, to discuss Italy against Ukraine, or Ukraine against Italy. In last night's match, it ended up 0-0. Italy had the better of the game. They had 4 or 5 really good chances, possibly 3 excellent chances to at least score 3 goals, possibly, you know, at minimum 2, definitely 1 with that miss from Chiesa, really. But the talking point has got to be in the second, third minute of added time, the penalty that was not given to Ukraine. Now, many are asking, well, was this a penalty? What about VAR? What about the referee's decision? Is there corruption at the highest level? Okay, so let's just address the penalty. So here in the UK, here in England, we're having lots of discussions right now about VAR. Lots of discussions about it. And, you know, we're all sort of saying, well, it's missing too many big calls, or it's making the incorrect calls. Even when it goes to VAR and they're looking at it and they're saying, well, you're making the wrong call. How can this be right? So many people have been getting very disillusioned with it. Now, here in the international game, the counter-argument to VAR was saying, well, actually, in Europe or international games, it works great. Well, here's a clear case where VAR didn't work. It was a stonewall penalty. It was, you know, if you're like me, I was watching it and I was going, Mamma mia, this is a penalty. We're out. We're not going to qualify. And I was just waiting for them to just let play continue. Then the referee was going to blow up the whistle, bring it back, go for a VAR check. And I thought he was going to give it. But they didn't. They didn't give it. And I was just wondering why. I looked at the slow motion replay. It looked a bang on penalty. So I can safely say with good conscience that I've looked at this myself, and as an Italian fan, I think that Italy just scraped through this qualifier, because the chances are, if Ukraine had been awarded that penalty, okay, the chances are they're going to score, right? If they didn't score, it wouldn't be justified that they didn't score. It will just be very unlucky for them and very lucky for us. As it is, as the penalty wasn't given, it's very lucky for Italy. But on the balance of play over the whole game, I mean, I don't think it was a great game. I thought Chiesa had a really good game. So it's, you know, some other players had some really good games as well. But this is not the vintage Italy, is it? This is not the champagne Italy that we may have seen in years gone by. But this is definitely typical Italy when we just scrape through qualifying. We just do enough just to qualify. Now we go to the Euros 2024, and maybe it's written on the wall, maybe it's written in the stars that Italy are going to do something quite good at the Euros, because they just scraped through. In the last game, they scored 5 goals. They could have had 5 goals in this game as well. Certainly 2 that I think they should have had. With the Fratesi clean on goal, I thought he should have put that away. Chiesa's miss was a decent, you know, bad miss. Barella's shot on goal, any little nick or deflection there, that would have taken past the keeper. Good save by the keeper. Donnarumma for Italy as well did some couple of great saves as well. But on the balance of play, Italy had the better of it. Di Lorenzo as well, he had a couple of headers, didn't he? So, you know, they were very close as well. So on another day, they might have gone in, or somebody else might have got a follow-up touch. But, yeah, look, you know, Ukraine, they had a decent effort. There's no doubt. They had a decent effort. They had a good go at the game, and so did Italy. It wasn't a bad game to watch. You know, it wasn't the most exciting, but it wasn't terrible either. But the question comes down to, well, should Italy have gone through? Should Ukraine have got the penalty? And if you're you know, if you're watching this later, if you're in the chat in right now, or you're watching this in the future, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Were Ukraine robbed? And if you're a Ukrainian fan, obviously you're going to say, yeah, Ukraine were robbed. If you're an Italy fan, you're probably going to think, you know, we were lucky. If your hand on your heart, you know, and you think with your head, and you've got to say to yourself, Italy were lucky there. We were lucky not to get a penalty. Because even if you think that the touch was minimal. Whoops. Hold on, let me get my Italian flag back. There we go. My breath was too strong. Even if you think, this is a live show by the way, look, this is what happens. Even if you think that the touch was very minimal and on Mudryk, right? Even if you think it was very minimal, the contact was minimal, you've got to admit that penalty has been given for a lot less than that. A lot less than that. Now, for me, it was a stonewall penalty. And when I looked at it in replay, he definitely made contact. You know, initially I thought he made contact on the shin, on the just above the ankle, and that's when he kind of rolled over it. Then it kind of looks as if he's caught his foot as well. I don't think Mudryk left his leg there. You know, I think they should have probably protested a little bit more for it, but they didn't. I mean, you know, again, I'm kind of playing devil's advocate. I'm kind of playing the Ukrainian side because, you know, for all my loyalty to Italy, for all my loyalty to, you know, supporting Italy as a national team, I always have the first and foremost fair play. It's got to be fair play. It's got to be equal, because if there isn't equal, if there isn't equality, if you don't have the right decisions, then those bad decisions could go against your team or your nation in the future. And look, Italy have had it in the past as well. But, you know, at the same time, if, let's say, the penalty was given and Ukraine did score and Italy got knocked out, there'd be lots of people saying, oh, this is a travesty, should never have happened, you know, oh, Italy were robbed. No, they weren't. Because actually what it comes down to is Italy not scoring. Italy not scoring in those chances. Because if they'd scored 3-4 goals, 5 goals against Ukraine, and then there was a late penalty shout, it wouldn't have made any difference. It'd be, who cares? But because it didn't happen, because Italy didn't score, that's why it becomes too crucial. So this comes down to the same thing. Italy have been creating chances now under Spalletti. Better flowing football. Chiesa's on form, looks really good. He had another effort, didn't he, actually? I forgot about the effort from the left-hand side, cut in, right foot, and just curled it just a little bit too wide from the far post. But overall, I thought we're playing better. Good chances, and this is probably a nice way to start building up momentum. Now Italy in the group, obviously they were beaten to the top of the table by England. England very impressive, apart from the last 2 games. If you look at the English media and you look at fan channels and reports, they're not very happy. And if you look at the way they're playing, they're on a bit of a downward trajectory, whereas Italy now are on a bit of an upward trajectory. Does that mean that Italy are going to do better in the Euros? Well, with this current crop of players, if you're just comparing England and Italy, England should do better because they got better players. Overall, they got a much better squad. They got world-class players, probably 2 or 3 of the best players in the world in the England squad. Whereas Italy don't. They're still finding their feet. And let's not forget, we are still weak in attack. In out-and-out goal scorers, I should say, in strikers, we are still relatively weak. Midfield, not too bad, I would say. I think we're doing it. And defensively, I think we could still do better. I think Donnarumma is good. You know, there's some decent players there. There's some decent players. But as I say, this is not vintage Italy. This is not the way it's been in the past. But it is in the past in the way Italy scraped through. And I think it's a real scrape through. I think it's a real let-off for Italy, this is. And is it a wake-up call? Well, look, Italy have scraped through before, and they've also had wake-up calls before, but it's kind of brushed off as if to say, you know, this is what happens. You know. But at the same time, I kind of feel if we'd lost that game last night, if Ukraine had scored, if they'd been given the penalty, I'd be like, yeah, back to the drawing board. Now, I wouldn't blame it on Spalletti so much, but I would kind of question the quality of our strikers, and that's something that he definitely has to get on top of in the next, well, from now on, actually. Whether we qualified or not, that's where we need to really look at the quality of the forward play and also the quality of the finishing, because the quality of the finishing still leaves a lot to desire. But look, if you're comparing Italy against England now, Italy on this newfound wave, this upward trajectory, as I say, they're rising in value. They beat Macedonia 5-0, 5-2 rather. Whereas England went to North Macedonia and struggled to draw 1-1. England, played Malta. They only beat them 2-0 at home. Italy beat Malta in their last outing 4-0. So, if you start looking at the recent head-to-heads, Italy have done quite well. But, you can't, I don't know what all this, that flashing was, but there we go. But look, hey, it is what it is. As I say, Italy have gone through. They've managed to qualify for the Euros, which is great. We live to fight another day. Ukraine, yeah, unfortunately, well, for them, unfortunately, for us, I don't really care myself. But, for them, I think they deserve the penalty. I think they definitely needed the penalty. And, hey, that's where it is. Now, many people are talking about the corruption in the game. Ceferin, UEFA lead, Ceferin was saying before the game that Italy have to be at the Euros. So lots of people are starting to ask now, what is there corruption at the highest level? We're saying Italy have to be there. But the same could be said that Italy should have been in the last 2 World Cups, but they didn't. They didn't qualify. They weren't good enough. If you're not good enough, you don't deserve to be there. If you're not good enough, you don't deserve to be there. So Italy now, they're just about good enough to be there. On the basis of just coming second and scraping through against Ukraine, just about good enough. But we know this is not a strong Italy team. Even though they won the Euros the last time, they overachieved in the Euros. They still haven't been, for me, they still haven't been right since we won the World Cup in 2006. And even then, even though we won the World Cup in 2006, I don't think, if I look back on the performances of 2006, I don't think we were that special either. I can think of much better Italian performances, much better Italian tournaments, even when we didn't win. I thought 1990, I thought Italy plays really great football. I've known the Euros in England. When was it? Back in 2000, was it? Maybe 96. I actually can't remember. But Italy were playing great. They came through. And then, they came through the group stages, won all 3 games. They stuffed every team. I can't remember who it was now. But we won all 3 games, looking really impressive. And then the next game in the knockout stage just got knocked out. Just goes to show, doesn't it? That's why we always say if Italy struggle to get into the tournament, and if Italy struggle to get out the group stage, it usually means that Italy tend to go far. They tend to go far. They struggle and they start to build up momentum. And the classic demonstration of this is the 1982 World Cup, isn't it? Which I think is probably the finest World Cup Italy have ever had in terms of starting off really, really poorly and then just building momentum. That weird 82 mini group stage in between the group stage and then on to the semi-finals, which they did. They only ever did it once, as far as I can remember. And then we were against Argentina and Brazil, and everybody's saying, we were all saying, there's no way we're going to beat Argentina and Brazil to get through. And guess what? We did. Even to this day, the Italy-Brazil game is probably seen as one of the best ever World Cup games. In terms of competition, in terms of excitement. And then obviously went on to beat Argentina 2-1, beat Brazil 3-2, the Rossi hat-trick, of course. God rest his soul. we went into the semi-finals 2-0 against Poland, wasn't it? And then, beat Germany, West Germany in the final. That's great images, great, but it was that great momentum. We've almost had it in other tournaments, Euros and World Cups, where we've kind of started to build that momentum, and we got through to quarters and semis, but we kind of failed right that last little bit. But it does seem to be, if we struggle to get in and we struggle to through the group stage, then we tend to build up that momentum. And a lot of teams are like that. A lot of good nations like that. If you start building momentum, you start building up, you tend to have a better way of doing it. If you start too strong, it's almost like you're too quick out the gate. You're too quick in a tournament football. I don't know if this is for all teams, but this certainly seems to be the way for Italy. But Italy, look, they're through. They've done it. They're there. Can they win it? I don't think so. I don't think it's not with this group of players. Even though I've just said about building momentum, I don't think so. But the corruption charge, if we go back to that, the corruption charge is possibly not even against Italy. It's probably against the officials and UEFA itself, where they're saying, no, Italy have to be there for the sake of the tournament, for the sake of international football. The big powerhouse that is Italy need to be there. Yes, they need to be there, but they also they need to deserve to be there. And did they deserve to be there? Possibly, just on the balance of play, just on the way they performed. But Ukraine had an equal right to be there as well. And if Ukraine had got the penalty, were they denied it because of corruption? Was there kind of any hint of corruption in the officials and the referee and the VAR? I cannot believe that VAR have not looked at that and have not given a penalty. I just don't understand. And I'm an Italian fan, and I just don't get it. I just don't understand it. I can't see there being corruption, but let's face it, there has been corruption at the highest level, in Italian football and world football before, so it's not beyond the realms of possibility, But hey, what can I say? Listen, Italy scraped through. They were lucky not to have a penalty given against them, in my opinion. They scraped through the group. They scraped through to qualify, but they've qualified for the Euros. On to Germany next year. Let's just see how we get on. Hopefully get a couple of friendlies in between. I think there's a couple of Nations League to go through there as well. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. But Forza Italia. Well, yes, but I think we were lucky to get through there. But there are some signs under Spalletti. There are some signs that Italy are starting to play better football, and also more attacking football, and the kind of football that we're seeing under Napoli last season, and the kind of a bit that desire to want to go forward. And I think there is that ability. There is a want to go forward, but we still lack that ability to go forward with absolute conviction. And I think as has been the case the last 8-10 years, actually since we last won the World Cup 2006, I believe. And again, I kind of got to ignore the last Euros, because I thought we started fantastically in that tournament and we were just building so well. And then we had a couple of really serious injuries, and that kind of derailed us. And I think we just got over the line against England in the final. But on another day, we could have easily lost that as well. But I think over the last few years, especially, even when we didn't qualify for the 2 World Cups, our problem was not in creating chances. Our problem was not in necessarily really poor defending. We dropped down under defensive. We weren't as clinical in midfield, but we definitely weren't great going forward, and we just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And some of the players that we've had, let's face it, they could do it in the league, they could do it in Serie A, but they couldn't do it for the national team. And that hopefully we've got players now that You know, that can. And my worry is that we've got players like Scamacca who are leading the line for Italy. And, you know, he came to my team, West Ham, and he wasn't that good. Yeah, he wasn't given the chance, and he wasn't really that good. So now he's back in Italy, playing in Italy. You know, I'm more keen on Chiesa, Raspadori, you know, players like that are up there and given it a chance rather than Scamacca. But then again, look, hey, Scamacca could surprise us all, and all it takes is a couple of goals here and there, a couple of opportunities, and all of a sudden, that's what it is about creating the opportunities so that our strikers, well, basically cannot miss. They cannot miss. That, you know, it's obvious that they're going to score. We'll soon find out. Anyway, let us know your thoughts, whether in the chat or whether in the comments below afterwards. But hopefully we'll have a better time coming ahead. Look, all we say, it's a good day. It's a good day for Italy, who qualified for the Euros. You know, can we defend the title? Can we defend the title? And I'll make a prediction. I think we're going to struggle in the early rounds if we make it out of the group, because remember, we're not going to be seeded now, so we're going to be put in a tough group. If we make it out of the group, I think we'll struggle to get past the quarterfinals. But that's it. That's just me, because I just don't think we got the players. Now, usually with my predictions, I'm completely wrong, but I just can't see it. I just can't see Italy with this generation right now doing it. Now, do I see Spalletti being in charge and taking us through to a World Cup? Yes. I think give him a couple of years with this crop of players, I think there's a possibility for us to improve that much in an attacking sense, to be able to be a force once again, and also to be a well-rounded team in defence and midfield. And I think Spalletti for the next World Cup might do some good things. That's what I think. That's my prediction. Not now, not for the Euros. I think we'll get quarterfinals, but the next World Cup, I think, watch out, world, Italy are coming back. That's my prediction anyway. But listen, I'm probably a bit more. I'm definitely more optimistic this morning than I was yesterday. Yesterday I was a little bit nervous before the game, but there we go. Anyway, listen. Hope you like what I do here. Italy are through to the Euros 2024. They drew against Ukraine. They could have easily had a penalty given against them in the dying minutes, dying seconds. Ukraine could have scored. It would have been, that's it. It would have been all over. Well, no, I think it could have gone. Maybe Italy might have qualified for some qualifying rounds, but listen, they haven't done it. They're through. That's all that matters. But let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notifications bell for all future videos and live shows coming up as well. And I'll catch you again whenever that is. Cheers now.